Hi, I'm Bruce Bonebrake. Welcome to this installment of the AutoZone Do-It-Yourself video series. Your vehicle is an important investment, and doing your own maintenance and repairs is a great way to protect that investment. A modern internal combustion engine has hundreds of moving parts, all of which must work together in perfect synchronization for the engine to perform properly. Disrupt the timing of the sequence slightly and the engine will run poorly. If the timing is very far off, the engine will not function at all. Automotive type engines have used this setup for years. The crankshaft uses a belt to turn the camshaft at precisely half the speed of the crankshaft. The camshaft causes the intake and exhaust valves to open and shut in time with the pistons as they move up and down in the cylinders. For years there was a long timing chain used to connect the crankshaft and camshaft together, but it's more economical and it makes more sense to use a belt, a timing belt like this one here. Now the thing is, a timing belt, it is a maintenance item and it does need to periodically be replaced, but for the most part they do a very good job. Not only that, unlike a chain, a timing belt is very quiet. You're not going to hear any noise from the operation of it. Now I've got a good comparison here because you might recognize a belt as being like a drive belt to run the accessories like your alternator, your power steering, or your AC. Now this would be an example of a drive belt. And if you look at the way that it's made, we have the multi-groove belt. Well then if you look at the timing belt, you'll see that you actually have the cogs on the belt that drive both of the gears, the cam and the crank gear. Now the one thing to mention also whenever you do the timing belt installation is you want to make sure with your replacement belt is in the exact match of what you have on your vehicle. Some applications, the actual cog on the belt may be rounded instead of being squared off, so you want to make sure that you have an exact match. The timing belt, like the drive belt, is made out of sophisticated rubber compounds. The thing of it is, on a drive belt is pretty easy to recognize when it needs to be replaced. You can do a visual inspection of the belt, you'll be able to see cracks in the belt, and then you know it's time to replace it. Now, a timing belt's a little bit different because by looking at the belt, it's kind of hard to tell if the belt needs to be replaced or not. It might be right to the point that all the teeth will shear off, then if it does, you've got problems. That's why it's so important to keep track of the replacement interval for the timing belt. That's going to vary from manufacturer to manufacturer, so you want to consult your manufacturer, your owner's manual, or contact the folks at AutoZone, and they'll be able to tell you when that change interval is for your vehicle. If you go past that time, there's a good chance the timing belt could fail. Now, if that happens, the best case scenario is the vehicle would have to be towed because there's no way it's going to start until you replace the belt. The worst case scenario is, though, it's going to cause severe damage to the engine. Now, this is a very important maintenance item. This is something to keep track of because if you go much over that mileage interval where it's supposed to be replaced, you could have serious problems. When a timing belt breaks, the crankshaft will continue to turn. The pistons are still moving up and down in the cylinders as the engine spins down to a stop, but the camshaft stops immediately and some valves are left open. In some engine designs, the valves never protrude far enough into the cylinder to come in contact with the piston, and serious damage might be avoided. However, many vehicles have what's known as interference engines. In these, the valves open farther into the cylinder. Normally, this is not a problem since the cam to crank timing keeps the pistons from hitting the valves. But when the timing is not synchronized, such as when the timing belt breaks, serious damage almost always occurs. Today I'm going to replace a timing belt in a 2001 Isuzu Rodeo. Now the Isuzu Rodeo, there's two different engine models. There's the 4-cylinder and the V6. We've got the 4-cylinder version to work on today. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the timing belt, but while I'm at it, while I'm in there, I'm also going to replace that water pump because the water pump's driven by the timing belt. Even if the water pump looks good, it's going to get replaced because if I don't do it now, it could fail down the road. The last thing I want to do, I want to take a good look at the belt tensioner. That's actually what holds the belt tight. If it looks like it needs to be replaced, it's going to get replaced as well. Let's get started. As with any job, to do it right, you'll need the right tools. The nice thing is the jobs we'll be covering today don't require a large, expensive assortment. Basic hand tools are generally all you'll need. In case where a specialty tool is required, be sure to check with AutoZone's Loan a Tool program. They have many specialty tools that can help you complete your job a lot quicker and easier. The first things you'll need are a socket set, torque wrench, drop light, drain pan, and a repair manual for your specific vehicle. You may also need screwdrivers or pliers to remove some components.
Be cautious when working under the hood. If the engine has been running, components will be extremely hot, so be careful what you touch. When working around a running engine, it is important to be alert and never wear loose clothing or a necktie that can get tangled in belts, pulleys, or the fan. When lifting a vehicle, Never work under it until it has been secured with wheel blocks and securely positioned on jack stands. A hydraulic jack alone is never enough. Be cautious when working with oils and chemicals. Many are damaging to the groundwater environment and toxic to people and animals. Never drain or pour chemicals into the ground or sewer systems. Local municipalities and counties offer resources for proper disposal. And always remember to wear your safety glasses.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Get the entire DVD for this repair and all other procedures covered in the Complete Car Care series at your local AutoZone store.